Okay, so we're back for another deep dive,
Yeah.
and this time it's Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals
Right.
on March 23rd, 2025.
Huge matchup.
Yeah. So big match coming up. And if you're listening to this, you probably know a bit about the IPL already.
Right?
But we're going to kind of dig a little bit deeper
Yeah.
into some of the details that you might not be thinking about
Exactly.
going into this match. We've got match previews to look at. We've got some historical data. We've got recent performances from the 2024 season, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all the ingredients for a really exciting preview.
Yeah, so let's get into it. First thing I think we should talk about is the rivalry itself.
Okay, sure.
When these two teams get on the field, is there like a historical narrative that we should be aware of?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
So when we look at the head-to-head record
Okay.
between these two teams, Sunrisers Hyderabad actually has a slight advantage.
Okay.
They played the Rajasthan Royals 20 times in the IPL,
Huh.
and SRH has won 11 of those matches,
Okay.
while Rajasthan Royals have won 9.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's close.
But there is a slight advantage there.
Yeah, a slight edge to SRH for sure.
Oh, okay. But that close a record over that many matches
Yeah.
means it's probably been pretty competitive.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, one team dominating the other. We've seen some really close finishes, some back and forth battles.
Right.
So I think that sort of sets the stage for what could be another really intriguing matchup.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've got the historical context, but I think what's even more interesting
Yeah.
is how they've been playing recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Recent form is so crucial in T20 cricket.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the 2024 season.
Okay.
They both had pretty significant journeys through that season.
They did. Both of them ended up reaching the playoffs, which
Yeah.
in itself is a huge achievement.
Yeah, for sure.
Sunrisers Hyderabad actually ended up making it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, and I remember they lost to
They did. They called the Knight Riders
KKR beat them in the final. Yeah,
in the final, but still to get to the finals
absolutely.
is says a lot about your team.
Yeah, that's a really strong season. A lot of consistency there. And what's really interesting is that during their playoff run, SRH actually beat Rajasthan Royals.
Oh yeah, that's right. They knocked them out and
Through qualifier two.
qualifier 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big one. A recent head-to-head win in a really high-pressure game.
Absolutely, and it was a convincing win as well. SRH won that match by 36 runs.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, in a playoff game, to have that kind of margin of victory really says something. So that's got to be in the back of both teams' minds heading into this match.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so SRH went to the final. RH8, they still had a great season reaching the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah, reaching the playoffs is nothing to sniff at. It's a big achievement in itself. But yeah, their journey ended at the hands of SRH in that qualifier 2 match. So they're going to be looking to
Bounce back from that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we talked about the teams as a whole. But let's focus on some individuals now.
Okay.
Specifically, some of the batting talent.
All right.
Because that's what everybody loves to see.
The big hitters.
The big hitters,
Yeah.
the sixes.
For sure.
So let's start with Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Okay.
Who are some of the key batsmen that we should be keeping our eyes on?
Well, one guy who really jumps out is Travis Head.
Okay. Yeah.
So in his last 10 matches, he scored 332 runs.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, that's a really good return. He's averaging about 36.89.
Right.
But what's really impressive is his strike rate.
Okay.
He's striking at 186.51.
Wow. That's huge.
That is massive. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's really capable of scoring quickly.
Yeah.
Which in T20 cricket is so important.
Yeah, for sure. So he's the guy you want at the top of the order.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get him in early.
Get him go.
Let him go and see what he could do.
Exactly. What about Abhishek Sharma? I think he opens as well, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in good form as well.
Okay.
In his last 10 matches, he's gotten 273 runs.
Okay.
Averaging just over 30, so slightly lower average than Head.
Right.
But his strike rate is even higher.
Oh, wow.
It's at 210.
That's crazy.
That is just phenomenal striking. So those two together at the top of the order make SRH's power play incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds like you do not want to miss the first few overs.
No, you don't want to be late to the stadium for this one.
For sure. Okay, so we've got the SRH batsmen. What about Rajasthan Royals?
Okay, so for Rajasthan Royals,
Who should we be keeping our eyes on?
well, Yashasvi Jaiswal is one guy who's really been in form.
Okay.
He scored 333 runs in his last 10 matches.
Right.
averaging over 41.
Okay, that's a great average.
Yeah, so really solid average.
Yeah.
And he's got a good strike rate as well,
Right.
162.43.
Wow. That's, yeah, he sounds like he's a real threat.
Yeah, he can do it all. He can build in innings. He can accelerate when he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's just been really consistent.
Perfect combination.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and anybody else we should be watching out for on the Royals?
Yeah, Ryan Parag has also shown some good contributions recently.
Okay.
He scored 289 runs in his last 10 matches,
Right.
averaging just over 41. So very similar average to Jaiswal.
Right.
But his strike rate's a little lower. It's about 143.78.
Okay, so a little bit slower.
For a little bit slower.
Still scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah, he's really good at building partnerships.
Yeah.
Sort of rotating the strike, making sure that the innings doesn't collapse.
Right. Okay, so kind of if we compare the batting lineups just based on that,
Yeah.
it sounds like SRH have the real firepower at the top
Yeah, I would say
with those two big hitters.
two very attacking players.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then RR have maybe a little bit more consistency.
Yeah, a bit more solidity at the top of the order. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about the batsmen. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the bowlers.
Okay, sure.
Because, in T20 cricket, it's not just about scoring runs.
No, it's
It's
also about
preventing runs.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to take wickets as well. Yeah, so starting with Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Okay.
Who are their main strike bowlers, or who are the guys that have been performing well recently?
One guy who's in the sort of the leader of the attack is Pat Cummins.
Oh, yeah, big name.
Big name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge international star.
Yeah.
Very experienced. He's taken 9 wickets in his last 10 matches.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's a decent return.
Mm-hmm.
His economy rate's a little high, though. It's about 10.1,
Okay.
and his strike rate is 24.66.
So he's giving up a few runs.
Yeah, he's a little expensive,
Yeah.
which could be something that Rajasthan Royals look to target.
Yeah, potentially exploit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And is there anyone else in that SRH bowling attack that's been kind of taking wickets and keeping the runs down?
Jaydev Unadkat has actually been pretty effective lately.
Okay.
So in his last 6 matches, he's taken 4 wickets.
All right.
His economy rate is much better than Cummins. It's 8.86.
Okay.
And his strike rate is also lower at 21.
Oh, wow.
So he's been picking up wickets more frequently than Cummins has.
Okay. Cool.
And keeping the runs down a bit more.
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's like 2 different approaches.
Yeah, 2 contrasting
What's
styles.
going on in that SRH attack?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at Rajasthan Royals.
Okay.
Who are their key bowlers that we should be thinking about?
Well, one guy who really stands out is Sandeep Sharma.
Okay.
He's been in fantastic form recently.
Right.
So in his last 8 matches, he's taken 12 wickets.
Wow, that's a lot of wickets.
That's a really impressive haul of wickets.
Yeah.
His economy rate's really good, 8.16.
Okay.
And his strike rate is excellent. It's 15.5. So that means he's taking a wicket basically every 3 overs.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
That is, yeah, he's a real match winner when he's in that kind of form.
Wow. Okay, so definitely a guy to watch out for, Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anyone else in that RR bowling attack that we should keep an eye on?
Yeah, Tushar Deshpande had a really good showing in his last match.
Okay.
So he picked up 2 wickets.
Right.
He had a good economy rate of 7.5.
Right.
And a really good strike rate of 12.
Wow.
So it's just one match.
Mm-hmm.
But it suggests he's maybe finding some form.
Yeah.
And he could be dangerous in this game as well.
Okay, so potential X factor there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've got these bowling attacks.
Yeah.
I think one last thing we should factor in is the venue.
Oh, yeah, the venue is always important in cricket.
Yeah, for sure. So this match is being played at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium in Hyderabad.
Right.
Which is, of course, the home ground for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah, home advantage could be a big factor here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine they probably got a decent record against RR at this ground.
They do, actually.
Okay.
SRH has won 3 out of the 4 matches they've played against Rajasthan Royals at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a pretty significant advantage.
Yeah, it suggests they really know how to play at that ground.
And they know how to play against Raji John in those conditions.
Exactly.
Okay. And just in general, what can we expect from the pitch at that ground? Does it tend to favor the batsmen or the bowlers?
It's generally considered to be a pretty balanced pitch.
Okay.
So we often see, batsmen able to score runs there.
Right.
But bowlers can also find some assistance. So it should be a good contest, I think.
Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Yeah. bit of something for everyone.
Exactly. All right, so let's wrap things up. We've taken a look at all the factors, all the information that might be important for this match.
Absolutely.
So just to recap for our listeners,
Yeah.
SRH, they've got a slight edge in the historical head-to-head. They also made it all the way to the final in 2024 and beat RR in the playoffs.
In that crucial qualifier, too.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams have some really exciting batting talent.
Oh, yeah. Some big hitters on both sides.
Yeah. Hedman Sharma for SRH, Jaiswal Parag for RR.
Absolutely.
We also looked at the bowlers.
Right.
We've got Cummins, Nutcut for SRH.
Sandeep Sharma looking really dangerous for RR.
Yeah, he's in great form.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then finally, we talked about the venue.
Yeah, home advantage for SRH.
Home advantage.
Yeah. Could be significant.
And a fairly balanced pitch.
Exactly. Yeah. So it should be a really good contest.
Right. So a lot to think about. So for our listeners, I just want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
You know, thinking about everything we've talked about.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the most important factor in deciding the outcome of this match?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Is it going to be SRH's, explosive batting at the top? Yeah. Or is it going to be, Sandeep Sharma's wicket-taking ability? Is it going to be the home advantage for SRH?
Right.
There's so many things.
There's so many things to consider.
Yeah. So, think about it.
Yeah, and let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And hopefully this is giving you a little bit more insight
for sure
into this match.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can enjoy it even more now.
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. All right.